Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Week is Stupid for the 24th of April, 2021. I got a new Uchikushi anime girl in the corner, which is the exact face that I have when I read the news every single week in order to make this segment happen. So now you know my face, because I usually don't show webcam. I don't show skin when I'm doing this, so not to distract the audience from the important things. Now, last week, you guys remember the top hit song, the Buyer Gentrifier? Well, as it turns out, some of my fans did a death metal version of the song. Let's hear it. Utsukushi. I love it. I'm going to have it as my ringtone. You know, since you guys were so nice to me, since you did something for me, I will do something for you. Do you see how kind I am? Do you see how I do business? You scratch my back, I scratch yours. Now, I understand they're usually a punk band, like they usually sing punk rock. And because of that, I'm going to educate you, bigot. I am going to provide you with the most important thing ever, knowledge. See, if you go to the Museum of London, do you see how intellectual I am? Am I not a fart sniffer or what? The Museum of London, motherfucker. Culture, Decolonizing punk, race, music, and power. You need to decolonize that shit, bigot. You need to check your... See, if you want to sing a style of music which is renowned to be nonconformist, you need to conform to what the Museum of London is saying. And this is not just the Museum of London. Like, just Google racism and punk, and you're going to find, like, several reasons why you cannot sing punk the way you want to. You need to be an anti-racist. You need to wake up, be woke, as they say, and decolonize that shit. You colonize it, and you need to decolonize it. So, the link, museumoflondon.org.uk, discover decolonizing punk. Now, I will wait for your thanks in the comment section because, honestly, where would you be without me? Like, without this nugget of wisdom, you would not be able to sing punk properly. So, here we go. I managed to educate you. And in the meantime, I will put the Buyer Gentrifier music on my phone. By the way, what would be the opposite of Buyer Gentrifier? Would it be like Seller Hoodifier? I need to think, like, my God, like, this is food for thought for when I'm on the toilet. Anyway, let's go back to the news. A cat has been caught smuggling drugs into Panama prison. The animal had a cloth tied around its neck that contained wrapped packages of various drugs. Why couldn't they use a mule like normal people? Why did they have to use the Neko-chan? Like, Neko-chan, what are you doing? Neko-chan, you're engaging into criminal behavior. Authorities in Panama on Friday intercepted an unlikely smuggler, a fluffy white cat. How did they know it was fluffy? Did they actually pet it? Like, you can't know it's fluffy unless you touch. Bearing an assortment of drugs in a pouch tied to its body as it tried to enter the prison. Neko-chan was a felon and got stopped outside of Nueva Esperanza jail. Esperanza, it means hope. The New Hope jail. My God, like, can you imagine how sadistic the government must be? It's like, how do you call the prison? The New Hope. Which houses more than 1,700 prisoners in the Caribbean province of Colon. There's a joke there somewhere regarding food for thought. North of the capital, Panama City, where Prison Break Season 3 happened. The animal had a cloth tied around its neck that contained wrapped packages of racist white powder, leaves, and vegetable matter. Is this a new movement? According to Andres Gutierrez, head of the Panama penitentiary system, they were likely cocaina Donde estas la cocaína? Crack and marijuana. Maybe it was for medical purposes. Why would we assume? This is not the first such attempted critter crime. Got a new word for it. Critter crime. Neko-chan is a critter. Prisoners use food to lure animals. Oh my god, this is so sophisticated. Look at this shit. Once the creature had been loaded with drugs by people on the outside. How do they know someone loaded the critter with drugs? What if Neko-chan got it itself? The Office of the Drugs Prosecutor of Cologne said on Twitter that it had opened an investigation into the use of animals for smuggling illegal substances into the New Hope prison. And in other news, it was with great sadness that I have to tell you that China is no longer a free country. Do you know what they did? They cracked down on free speech. Yes, a lot of people on the Twitter are upset that China has decided to censor feminist groups after drops in marriage and birth rate were found in a recent census. Feminists who encourage women not to get married and have kids are having their groups disappeared. The Chinese Communist Party has been heavily censoring social media posts by feminists, as well as pushing for an app which will allow people to flag others for bad opinions and bad takes. Now, if I see a person worried about this on social media, I will just tell them, well, you know, free speech doesn't mean freedom from consequences, my boy. It's what you've been preaching all year long. But rest assured, I am pretty certain that all of the woke corporations in the West, all of them supporting feminism, are going to wiggle their finger at China, just like they wiggle their finger at the United States regarding the law in Georgia, and they're going to say, China, you know what? We think that this is unacceptable. We stand with women everywhere, China. You're not allowed to do something like this. And then you're going to have the United Nations, and you're going to have the European Union, and they're going to be like, no, China, no, stop it, stop, no, human rights, China. Oh, I'm pretty sure it was going to happen any second now, any second.
How you doing today?
I'm alright, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I seen you reporting on Twitter.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Hey, but I seen the Project Veritas stuff about CNN. What do you guys think about that?
I did a bad job of doing this.
Yeah, okay. No comment. What do you guys think about that?
How dare the viewer do that to her? Does the viewer not know that she has a check mark? How can you do this to a blue check mark? My God. Do you know what that is? That is white supremacy. That is white supremacy. I know you're saying, well, V, hold on a little bit. There was no white person involved. Who says there has to be? Okay, bigot, educate yourself. Go on Yahoo News. Go on Yahoo News and read it here, okay? Like, white supremacy is the root of all race-related violence in the United States. This is from a professor. A professor, motherfucker. Are you a professor? No, shut the fuck up. If you're not a professor, you don't get to speak. Jesus. Hearing stuff from the plebeians is disgusting. You need to listen to the professors. Professor, and not just any professor, of Asian American studies. Like, he studied Asian Americans. Do you understand this? Like, he looked at them through the microscope, and he came up to the conclusion that when a person of African American heritage attacks an Asian person, the encounter is fueled, perhaps, by racismus. But very specifically, not any racismus, because there's more than one racism, the white supremacist type. And it does not require a white person to perpetuate it, even if there's no white person there. Like, even if all the white people would believe the United States, it would still linger like a stench. And that's what I think happened in the previous scenario. Okay, maybe a white person let the stench remain, and it caused the pure viewer to be mind-controlled and do verbal abuse against the innocent blue checkmark from CNN.
Indeed.
Tell me what you think about what's going on here.
What I think about this is all the press and all the extra y'all do makes this worse.
You think so?
Yes. When people want to protest, they shouldn't do it in front of a police courthouse. Like that. You get what the I'm saying?
Oh my God. See what happens when you allow one person to confront a check mark? It's now systemic. It's systemic. Everyone thinks it's okay to do it. You do not confront the authoritative sources. Why do you think they turn off the comments? They give disabilities on the comment section of their website because they do not need your input. They tell you how things are done and you listen. Hopefully you obey. Confronting journalists on the streets. Egad! What is this country descending into? Fascismus. Now, while we're on the subject of protests, I'm going to talk about something a little bit more dark now. So, no more jokes. This is serious. According to the Daily Mail, BLM protesters, oh my God, the YouTube moderators are already here. It's like, oh, V said BLM protesters. What do you have to say about the protesters, V? What do you have to say? Like, oh, yeah, calm down, calm down. I'm just reporting the news, right? I'm not making it up. Like, this is legit what the Daily Mail is telling me. If you don't like it, take it up with the Daily Mail. I'm just reporting the news. Also, now YouTube says I'm allowed to talk about police brutality, so therefore I can have a conversation about it. BLM protesters heard gunshots. And they took a knee when they heard it. And they were about to go march to protest. Because yet another case of police brutality. But something stopped the march. Something stopped the protest. Can you figure out what? Well, apparently, the person who got shot was a white male in his 20s that was a violent carjacker. I mean, who wants to support a violent carjacker? You know, so they turned back. They turned back and they said that they, quote-unquote, need more information on what actually happened, which is a good thing. You know, you always need to stay informed. You should never do what the press does, an ambulance chase. You should wait for more information to come out, and then you're going to make a more calculated, a cold-headed decision. I do agree. This is why I like BLM protesters, because they're very sensible fellows. But you know who's not very sensible?
So again, thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing your life for justice, for being there to call out to your mom. How heartbreaking was that?
And here I thought Biden is the gaffe maker in chief. Nancy, how should I tell her? Like, will I tell her or will you? Sacrificing is a voluntary act, Nancy! That's a gaffe! A gaffe! Oh my God, like, Twitter is eating her alive. Like, left-leaning people are upset. Like, apparently, they think that what she did is improper. It's improper. But it's okay. You know, she's a Democrat. It's not like she's going to get canceled for the things she said. Imagine if Tucker Carlson said something like that. Ooh la la. You remember when last year all the Democrats took a knee in order to show solidarity, and they wanted even more than that. Like, they really wanted to connect with the people. The establishment wanted to connect with the citizens. So what do they think it's a good idea? It's like, okay, let's put on some African paraphernalia. Like, let's dress in some traditional African attire, because that's really going to establish a connection. The only problem was, as the press pointed out, the paraphernalia they decided to express belonged to the African slave traders, not to be confused with the slaves, the traders, which traded black slaves to the Europeans. That's a big yikes, as the kids like to say on the Twitter. Big yikes. Big oof. I don't know what they were trying to say. I mean, holy shit, even I'm not that edgy. Like, even I have a limit. Like, I would be like, oh my God, that's offensive. That kind of might upset people. Yeah, I love how, like, offensive nowadays is to teach math. Like, that's actually a thing. We're going to make a separate video on it, but that's offensive. But dressing in the attire of slave traders, no, that's fine. Yikes. You know, maybe like, look, I know what they were trying to do. They were trying to see who paid attention on Black History Month. They wanted to be called out. It was to check the population if they're actually aware of the history of the slave trading, right? So they were like, ah, it's a good thing you spotted. I just wanted you to do that. Man, they should get me to write their speeches. Nancy, hire me. I'll do it. Maybe not for free, you know, because you got a lot of money. Like, she's a millionaire, isn't she? Just hire me. Like, you know, I'll work cheap. I'll work cheap based on the income you have. Look, for $1,000, I'll write all your speeches for a month. And I'll tell you, you're going to have the passion and the soul in those speeches. You're going to captivate the audience. Well, then again, I guess she did captivate it with her choice in attire, huh? Man, like, if maybe the press shouldn't focus on how to dress on Halloween, and they should focus how to dress with the Democrats, huh? My God, you can put that attire on Halloween and say you're Nancy Pelosi. Holy shit. Maybe I should stop, because then YouTube gets upset. It's a joke, YouTube. Come on, let me joke. Why can't we have the funny? Why can't we have the funny anymore? You're laughing as well. You know, as you're listening to this, you cracked a smile. Not kidding. Like, there is a YouTube liaison that I have on my channel. Like, the guy watches every single video of mine and decides whether or not it gets monetized. Like, at this point, I'm not even bothering. I'm just submitting them for review. But imagine the horror, you know, like being your job to listen to my videos. My God, like that. I do not like to listen to my videos. I have a horrible squeaky voice and a difficult to understand accent. Who else could hire me to write speeches for? Because I'm a lot better in writing. Like, in writing, people don't understand my squeaky voice. I know who should hire. Biden Joseph. Now, a little bit of context, if you're not American, or if you don't know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of people recently coming into the United States through the border. A lot of people. Apparently it's fine. Like, even though it's a pandemic, it's not a super spreader event. I mean, it's not like it's a Trump rally or something. So the question is it a problem, right? Because, like, the facilities are overflown. Apparently there's, like, at 700% their capacity. And the conditions are not really that good, apparently, right? Like, when you have more people than you have space, ends up causing a little bit of trouble. Now, the U.S. president came out and said that it's a border crisis. It's a crisis, right? Needs to be fixed. It's a problem that's in urgent need of fixing. Crisis. And I was like, oh, okay, you know, like, it's a good thing that they noticed it. There's a lot of people waiting, like, they don't know what to do, so it's a humanitarian crisis. But apparently it's not. It's not a crisis. Because a couple of days later, according to the Biden White House, like, notice the name, the Biden White House, yeah? What Joe Biden says does not represent the official position of the Biden administration. Dude, let me read that again. Like, I had a little bit of trouble reading it. Seriously, like, I was in the morning, you know, sipping my coffee, and then the coffee starts coming out of my nose. And, like, my brain didn't even process it. It was like a body reaction to what I was reading. I was having, like, an allergic reaction. Like, what? The Biden White House is saying that what Joe Biden says does not represent the official position of the Biden administration. On what level of WTF are we now? Like, oh my God, like, you would think in a normal country, normal, I know, like, that word is offensive now, but, like, in a normal society, people would at least ask, WTF? How can the president come out and say something, and then, like, the Biden White House, like, the president's White House is saying, no, that's not our official position. You know what? Like, no, this is why I need to write the speeches. Because I would be like, look, okay? The Democrats, it's in the name, it's democratic, right? Like, even in the White House is democracy there. I mean, yeah, the president is the figurehead, but first they talk it through. First. It's like an RPG. It's like when I played Dungeons and Dragons with Arch Warhammer. And you gotta check in with the group before you roll the skill check. It's literally like that, you know? And they literally are like playing an RPG. Like, Biden goes out to say it, and then it's like, no, let's take it back. We didn't really say that. Let's take it back. Like, we want to say something else. Literally like that. It's like playing Dungeons and Dragons. I told you the anime girl avatar going naughty is exactly my face. Like, I do this every single week. Every single week I do this. Like, it's not my fault. I don't make the news. Or I don't write it. I just try to make you guys smile. That's literally it. I'm not trying to change the world. I'm not doing activism. I'm just trying to make you guys laugh. But when I read stuff like that, I get brain damage. Going to end up in the hospital if I can do this. Oh my lord. No, but seriously, like, have this ever happened before? Like, I know I have a diverse audience. Like, people from all over the globe watch me. Like, tell me if you ever notice something like this in your country happening, where, you know, like, the president comes up, says something, and then, like, the presidential staff goes like, no. Like, let's reel it in. Take it back. It would be literally the same, like, AOC saying something, and then her staffers coming up is like, no, like, that's not her official position. And speaking of AOC, what is the most popular senator in the United States up to right now?
Which means that we must recognize in legislation that the trampling of indigenous rights is a cause of climate change. The trampling of racial justice is a cause of climate change, because we are allowing people and we are allowing ourselves to make sure, we are allowing folks to deny ourselves human rights and deny people the right to health care, the right to housing and education.
Hold on. Let me write it down. Housing crisis, climate change, of course it's connected. Education and healthcare. Got it. This sounds familiar. Oh, she must have watched my favorite kids entertainment channel from Nickelodeon. Comments have disabilities, of course. Let's listen to it.
What do these cities have in common? They're all examples of environmental racism.
I think it's high time we hold the environment accountable. We demand an apology from the environment. Curse you, environment. Why you do this? Why you do this? Apologize. Apologize so we can get you fired, environment. Yeah, I'm really glad AOC is on the case. She's going to hold the environment accountable. Why isn't she wearing a mask, though? Huh? Maskless AOC? Not you too, AOC. Not you too. Mask it. Look, I'll help it. I'll help her and I'll fix the problem. All right, I'll fix that. Look here. Is it? There we go. I keep people safe. See, not only do I stay in home and I don't go out, but I help politicians out in a pinch. Aren't I amazing? Aren't I awesome? Man, why would AOC not wear a mask, though? Like, what would Fauci say? Huh? What would Fauci say? I'll tell you what Fauci would say. Fauci is now talking about la gun violencia. And, you know, like, he's got other important medical issues to talk about. Gun violence. So because he's not paying attention, politicians are running amok. Running amok. 1 second, he stops talking about masks, and look what happens. Look what happened. It's okay. It's okay. Because I'm there. I'm vigilant. I'm vigilant, and I make sure that the errors are corrected. By the way, you may laugh, but you know, in a previous Week in Stupid, we actually went through this. There was a cop in India which arrested the guy, and the cop wasn't wearing a mask. So the police Twitter photoshopped a mask over the policeman's face. It was beautiful. Wichikushi. Wichikushi. I don't think I can do this anymore. I'm taking a lot of brain damage. Thank you for the super chats, by the way. I hope you gave me super chats. Otherwise, I'll look weird if I thank you and I didn't get anything. Or maybe I got a lot of red ones and then it looks good. Who knows? I don't think this video is getting monetized. Well, a little bit spicy. Well, a little bit spicy. Now, one more news. Do you guys want one more news? Like the rest of them, I'm going to show on a live stream. So, I guess we can do one more. Because this was the week of WTF. I mean, I don't know. Like, what happened? What did they put in the water this week? Because all the news was crazy. But, like, this one... I can't say it takes the cake, though. Like, no, after the one with Biden, I don't think, like, anything can take the cake. But this one is high up there. It's in the top tier list, that's for sure. Seattle area councilman. Hosing poop-covered sidewalks might be racially insensitive. You know, like they actually have poops in museums now. Like, I'm not kidding, Google it. It's actually considered art by some people. So, I mean, yeah, I can see the insensitivity. Like, you're you know, a human being is busy producing art worthy of a museum, and you're just cleaning it away. You're washing it away. Yeah, maybe it's so Trump doesn't call other countries shitholes. Maybe this is what it is. It's for the chess. See, that's why you need to hire me. Like, I will find a reason for everything that makes complete sense. It's like you're not going to be able to call another country a shithole if your country is poop covered, as they say, poop covered. I'll be live streaming right after this. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and hopefully next week isn't going to be this ridiculous. I hope. God have mercy. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you on my live stream. All right, like if you go to my live stream channel right now, there's a pinned comment into the description, and if you head over there right now, I'll be live streaming live this, and I'll cover a couple of topics that I didn't get to cover here. Take care.